Good morning, artists. This week we are going to be doing some practice and working on our bubble letters, and we're going to be completing our names in graffiti bubble letters that we'll use in another project for next art class. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so your biggest challenge on this project is going to be doing your bubble letters well. And so this week, I want you to be practicing. If you are going to be in class on Friday, I want you to practice a couple times at home, just making bubble letters. And if you are working on this from home, I want you to practice a couple times and make sure you've got it right before you get going on your final draft. So I want to show you two potential problems that you might have. I'm going to use my first name, Jessica, because it's longer. I use star on this one, but it's pretty easy when your name is short to do good bubble letters on a page, and it's a little harder when your name is long. So let's just look at what might happen. This is my name, Jessica, and when I wrote my name out here, I made my letters way too small, and I left way too much space between them. All right, I also kind of made them slant upwards, but that's not as bad. So we're going to practice making our letters big. Another problem that you might have is you might start writing your name, and then you might run out of space and have to write the last part really small. And that is going to be another problem that we're going to show you how you can fix. So let's go ahead and take a look at some good ways to fix these problems. So one thing that I'm going to suggest that you do is I want you to think about the number of letters in your name and decide which letter is the middle letter in your name. So for me, since I have 7 letters in my name, the second S is the middle letter. If you have an even number of letters in your name, like star, then you have 2 letters that are the middle letters in your name. And if you can find the middle letter or letters, then that's the letter that you need to put into the middle of your word and middle of your paper. So that's my second S, which means my next S has to fit here. Oh, I'm running out of room. So that means this S needs to be a little smaller. That's why we're practicing. So I'm going to make my S in the middle, but I'm going to make it a little smaller. And I'll make the other S. Oh, this is looking better. It might not be my best, but let's check it out. I could try one more time because my I is a pretty narrow letter, whereas these letters are all pretty fat. So I'm going to try one more time. And you can do this at your house too. Just keep trying until you think that you've got your name written out really nicely on your page, as big as it can be, depending on how many letters are in your name. Now, if your name is Max, then you are going to be able to write your letters a lot bigger because you only need 3 letters, M-A-X. And so I want to see that your letters are way bigger if you have a shorter name. You can see Max, super big letters, star, big letters, Jessica, because I have so many letters, a little bit smaller. Now remember what we do for our bubble letters? Now we are going to just go around them. And here's another mistake that sometimes people make. They go right around like this. That's not going to make you a very fat bubble letter. And so instead of doing that, I want you to try to make them a little bit wider. Leave more space around your inside letter. So let's go ahead and trace around our letters. And we might have some spots that overlap, like this. All right, once you've got your bubble letters done pretty well, that's as much as you need to do if you're going to be in class on Friday. I just want you to practice those letters. If you're doing this at home though, next step is to take a Sharpie. And we're going to trace the outside of our bubble letters. We're not going to worry about that inside line anymore. Once you've got that traced, we're going to add some little highlights to make them look a little bit 3D. And so these are marks where you would see a bit of a shine if there was a curve to your letters. So let's add those. I'm going to add them up in the corners where there's curves. It could be like that with a white space in between, or it could be just a little line without a white space in between. Go ahead and add some on some of your letters. Once you've got that finished, you really don't even need to erase the pencil inside. We are going to be using either oil pastels if you have them, or you can just use crayons. And I want you to pick 3 colors. If you want to pick 3 colors that are in a row on the rainbow, like red, orange, yellow, or even yellow, green, blue, that would be fine. You can do that. So I'm going to pick yellow, green, blue here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one to start with at the top of my letters, and then I'm going to slowly blend into another and slowly blend into a third. So let's start with yellow. Now if I want them to really overlap, I need to have some green go on top of that yellow. So I'm just going to put a little bit on top of the yellow. All right, make sure you get all of that white space in, and again, overlap your bottom color with your middle color a little bit, and then we're gonna do one final thing to blend it together and to fill in all of those white spaces, being careful not to go outside of our Sharpie. For this, you can use your finger, but I'm going to use a little piece of paper towel, and you're just gonna rub inside your letters only, because if you rub outside, the color will go outside, and you're gonna blend these colors. All right, once you've done that far, you are finished for this week. Next week, we are gonna cut it out and put it on a wall so that it really looks like graffiti. I hope you enjoyed it and had fun.